Hello and welcome to Heroes of History, and this is another Let's Test Heroes video for tonight, one last one. This time we're looking into Pakal the Great, which I have gained recently. I'm not sure how I like him. He's a supporter, but well, that's about it. He has ordinary attack, and there's a little extra defense and a little extra hit point because he got awoken a bit when I used all my allied antimatter. So as you can see here, he's awoken twice, one with 6% defense and one with 20% hit points. So is quite similar to Amina of Sasau, which I just did. And then he has ability charge initial minus 1.9 seconds, 20% extra defense, and ability charge initial minus 0.7 and regular minus 2, which means initial will lose 2.6 seconds. Well, let's look what this means for the ability. Minus 2.6 seconds, that's like 1.8 seconds per initial shot. That's quite fast, but what does it do, right? He has a Stone God Blessing that fortifies the largest cluster of allies, providing them with a shield worth 190% of his base damage for 15 seconds. That sounds like awfully little, and I will use him this ability rather than the presidential protection, which provides invulnerability. So right here it sounds a bit weaker, because presidential protection means your entire team and just the biggest cluster of allies. Additionally, he increases the defense by 20%, which is good of his own defense. Well, makes sense why he get all this extra defensive stats in a radius of 2 for 8 seconds. Well, if the biggest cluster is the one taking all the damage, well, it's the optimal place to land it. Now, let's see how he does in combat. Now let's return to the campaign map and let's go to Province 19 and do this thing that I actually fear will be a very bad thing for our team. Now, Amina Sasau move, Abraham Lincoln move, and in, let's see if we can find them down here somewhere. That should be a blue hero around here somewhere that we need. That was Salantha back in his place, and that was Pakal the Great. I have an expectation that Pakal is, well, in over his head actually, because even though this is where we are and they all get a lot of extra shield, I will still prefer presidential protection. Well, at least by the look of it, it is better. But now we test it, and well, then we'll find out. Oh, that's not exactly good. That's... oh. I would rather have had them up here with all my close combat, but unfortunately might have another cluster here of close combat units that is fighting at the same place. So that's not a good thing, actually. But it seems like we're doing okay, and we'll be winning this round, luckily. Let's look at the battle stats now and see if Pakal has done a great job. And there we go, and well, he kept out of harm's way, and well, I didn't do that bad damage-wise. Now let's move on to the next battle here, continue, and see if Pakal's shields can keep us alive a bit. Of course, it depends a lot on how many units he can encompass in his view. With his ability, of course, it can help a lot if we also use the taunt hero, but that will remove one of our damage heroes. But as shields works the same way as healing does, but might not necessarily be one of the damage giving heroes we should use for that purpose, but maybe rather our healer, because also shields lands on everyone, even if they haven't lost health at all, so it amounts up. Unfortunately for Pakal, that only lasts for like 15 seconds, so after 15 seconds he just loses that shield again. So it doesn't last forever like a heal does, so I'm not sure if it's the perfect choice. But let's just see how we fare here. So that was a 3-star again, which isn't bad. Now let's move on to one of the first and bigger tests, as well we're landing at a place where Amina of the South actually stumbled the first time. So let's see if we can do better than that, because that would give us an indication who is the better, if it's the presidential protection with Abraham Lincoln or Pakal the Great with his shields. Now stunning him makes the shield land a bit late, and I would have left him up here with Lancelot, but he stands alone, so obviously it won't land there. And well, we got a lot of heroes right now, needs the help, and here comes the shield, which will help a lot, and on top of that they get some healing. It's a bit like I'm using 2 healers in the battle right now. Now let's see how we are faring. That was a 3-star again, so it actually worked just as well as using the presidential protection with Sir Lancelot. Now let's move forward one battle, and then we're moving forward to the place where even the great Sir Lancelot stumbled. So we'll really see here if Pakal the Great is a better choice than our beloved Abraham Lincoln. Well, that's not entirely true, because Pakal the Great had, after all, been awoken twice, and Abraham Lincoln hasn't been awoken at all. Oh, that hurts. That was 1 down. Now he needs some healing or a shield, otherwise he'll be a bit damned. Well, it seems like he is keeping alive, while, well, Lagatha died this time. So it won't be a 3-star victory here, that's easy to see. Not even sure it will be a big 2-star or a small one. Well, it's well, it turns out ending up just about as great as with Sir Lancelot the first time. So let's look into it once more. Now let's go for the one last test and see how that fares here. See if he will behave here. Out of this province, Ottoman port, this battle, and continue. Let's just start the fight and see if we can have our 3 heroes moving into the same place. There should be a great chance that everyone gets the shield they deserve. Well, they're dead, which is great for us, because that will... Oh, miss? That should not be allowed. Well, Sir Lancelot doesn't miss. That's a great thing, but well, we could use some extra healing for like that. That came there, and Pakal the Great, can you just please? Well, like that, you should move that much away from everyone else. But just to make sure that everyone else has a difficulty sharing the shield with you. Now let's see here if we can survive this one, because I think the shield will get up over here, which means those over here would be left in a bad situation. But we'll have to see if they can manage anyway. That's a good thing that Pakal the Great lands where it's most needed and not the biggest cluster. So we still win with a 3-star. So it has went by stars just as well as it had with Abraham Lincoln. That's a pretty impressive feat. Now let's compare up here where the only changes Abraham Lincoln to Pakal the Great. Damage wise, Legacy is about the same. Well, actually a bit more for Milan, a bit less for Sir Lancelot, which is sort of impressive actually. Pakal do less damage than Abraham Lincoln, and well, a little extra for Pakal the Great. Defensive wise, Legacy took on a lot more damage, and same with Milan. It's actually almost around 30% more damage. About the same for Sir Lancelot, and well, Pakal the Great himself took a little less than Abraham Lincoln, and well, Pakal the Great a little extra damage he took too. And for some reason I have I skipped that one and remove that 4. There shouldn't be any number there. And actually deal more healing for Pakal the Great, which means that the heroes has been kept more alive, but as she doesn't do as much damage as Abraham Lincoln, that could also be a part of it. I'm not sure how well the invulnerability ability shows up here in damage taken, with all the extra damage taken here for our heroes. That could be a large part of it, that it isn't accounted exactly. But based on the stars we get, Pakal the Great is just about as effective as Abraham Lincoln, especially if you can keep your troops packed together. I didn't do a great job there. I could have done way better, but that would be a bit more focused combat style rather than just testing how good he is. So that's actually a very real chance that Pakal the Great will be a much greater tool in your arsenal than Abraham Lincoln, as it is right now if you had the same setup that I had in these setups. So, well, that concludes my findings. I will say thank you for watching this video.